All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy Slushy here, coming back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to use the new and improved, updated Succession Sorceress. Now, in my opinion, she's probably one of the top 5 best grinders now. I mean, it's probably debatable, but I think that she is. I've been doing really good here. I've been averaging about 22 to 23k per hour with her at 306 AP, which isn't terrible. So I would say that she's pretty decent. Now, with that being said, I'm going to try to teach you all the best ways to use her in PVE. And I'm going to hopefully be able to leave you without any questions by the end of this video. So getting started, let's talk about the different skills that we use for her. Now, whenever you're building your skill tree, you want to get all of the prime skills except for Midnight Stinger. For Midnight Stinger, you want to make sure that you get the absolute version, not the prime version. The reason why you want to do that is the prime version is a lot slower than the absolute version, and the absolute version, since it is faster, will allow you to grind faster. Other than that, you want to make sure that with absolute beat kick, you have this skill locked. You won't be needing that. You also won't be needing absolute shadow kick, so you can have that locked as well. For Crow Flare, you want to make sure that you have ultimate Crow Flare. The reason being is you notice if I do Darkness Released, which is my WF skill, and then I go into Crow Flare, I can immediately go into Crow Flare right after that. If I don't have ultimate Crow Flare unlocked, whenever I use Darkness Released and then try to go into Crow Flare, it makes me wait about a second until I can actually use it. So make sure that you have ultimate Crow Flare unlocked. Everything else, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You just unlock all the skills that are on here. For your skill enhancements, you're going to use Shadow Ignition, Engulfing Shadow, as well as Shadow Hellfire. Now, the skills that you're going to want to have hotbarred onto your screen are as followed. Rushing Crow, this is going to be one of your main movement skills as also one of the main ways that you're going to debuff your enemies in PvE, so have that hotbarred. The other skill that you're going to want to have hotbarred is going to be your Tendrils, so make sure you hotbar that, as well as hotbarring Dark Trade. Now, if you've never played Sorceress before, you'll notice that you have these shards in the top left-hand corner. Long story short, your shards are basically a way to help you survive, as well as a way, an extra resource to give yourself little power-ups and little boosts. So you'll notice that if I hit Q, I will consume these shards. So if I hit Q, I'll consume 30 of them, and I'll give myself an all AP buff plus 20. So you want to make sure that when you're grinding, you always keep this buff up. Now you might be wondering, how do you get more shards? Well, that is a great question. Glad you asked. To get more shards, all you have to do is hit enemies with your skills, and you will gain shards back. You also can get shards by having this skill hotbarred, which is called Dark Trade. Consuming this not only will give you shards, but will also give you your DP debuff that lasts for 5 minutes. So make sure you're always using this to give yourself shards back, as well as giving yourself that DP buff. So if you'll notice, I use it for the next 5 minutes, I have all DP plus 20. So make sure you're using that buff. With that being said, another thing that shards can be used for is keeping up your stam when you're low on stam. You can trade 10 shards away for an extra iframe. So if you notice, whenever I iframe around, you'll notice that right here I have a stamina bar. So whenever I get low on stam, normally you wouldn't be able to use stam. So right here I have basically no stam, but you'll notice when I iframe, instead of using my stam now, it's going to use those shards until I can't iframe anymore, and I start doing this weird walking thing because I have no stam. So you'll notice that I have no stam, right? But what I can do here is I can pop Dark Trade, get shards back, and then keep iframing around. So if you notice some sorts that it seems like they never run out of iframes, it's because they have what is called good shard management, which just comes with due process and grinding. Now, another thing that I want to mention really quickly is whenever you're grinding, in order to keep your buff up for your shards, normally you would just have to keep pressing Q, but with your Dark Flame, you'll notice that the ultimate version, it does say right here that it will consume 1 shard of darkness to increase your attack area and number of hits. So basically what that means is it increases the attack area, as well as also increasing, also keeping up your DP buff, or I'm sorry, your AP buff. So if you notice, I hit Q to buff, right? So I'll buff for 20 I'm buffed for plus 20 AP for 20 seconds. You'll notice if I use Dark Flame and I use the ultimate, which is down left mouse button, once I hit ultimate Dark Flame, it rebuffs up. So whenever you're doing your grinding, for the most part, as long as you're using your ultimate Dark Flame, you should be having that buff up at all times. If not, when you go pack to pack, just make sure that you have your AP buff up. If not, hit the mobs a couple times, get your shards and buff up, or just hit your dark trade real quick, get your shards and buff up, and then go into your combo. With that being said, that's about everything that you should need to know as far as skills and how everything works with Sorceress and all of her tech for the most part. For your iframes, it is WW to iframe, but it's a lot easier to hotbar that. So what you're going to do is go to settings, go to general settings, interface, action hotkeys, and hotbar evasion WW to your mouse, so it's a lot easier to iframe. You can iframe to the left and right, but every second iframe is going to be, I believe, what is called crow food. Yeah, crow food. So every second iframe on Sorc, if you're iframing to the left or right, is going to be a super armor. So just in case you're grinding somewhere that hits really, really hard, if you're taking a lot of damage, just try to make sure you're just waiting in between your iframes if you iframe left to right, to make sure you're not accidentally doing that iframe that is actually a super armor. With that being said, that should be all the tech that I need to cover with you guys, as well as your e-buff. You're going to want to e-buff every 3 minutes. That's going to be on your bar. The other skill that you're going to use is going to be Shadow Hellfire. I'm not sure if I went over my skill add-on, or not my skill add-ons, but my skill enhancements. I use Shadow Ignition, Engulfing Shadow, as well as Shadow Hellfire. Shadow Hellfire should also be on your hotbar as well. With that being said, we can get into the skill add-ons that I use. Skill add-ons. For Black Wave, I use all accuracy rate plus 4%, all DP minus 15. You want to keep that DP debuff up at all times, and this is just a good way to keep it up. Shadow Eruption, critical hit rate plus 20%, attack casting speed plus 7%. Claws of Darkness, extra AP against monsters plus 20, attack casting speed plus 7%. Rushing Crow, all DP minus 15, critical hit damage plus 3%. Turnback Slash, all evasion rate minus 4%. Critical hit damage plus 3%. Violation, extra AP against monsters plus 20. All DP minus 15 for 10 seconds.
Real quick interjection. I just noticed while I was editing that I did not show my artifacts or my crystals. So when it comes to artifacts, I am using Death Blow. I have 2 extra AP against monster artifacts. And then as far as crystals go, I have pretty much the best crystal setup that you can have, except that I am missing a Rebellious Crystal because I may or may not have died here the other night. But gonna go with a Gihren's Tier. You should have 2 Rebellious Crystals, this is for Gyfin, 2 Crystals of Mysterious Darkness, 2 Crystals of Brutal Decimation. I use 2 Vipers. I also use 1 Elcar here because for some reason I miss every once in a while. But normally you should only have 2 Vipers and then 2 Rebellious, but I'm using 2 Vipers and then 1 Visionary Elcar. 2 Rods, and then the rest of your spots can just be filled with either Ancient Magic Crystals of Flames, or you can use the Dark Rang Valors. But once you get the 2 Rebellious, Gihren's Tier, 2 Vipers, 2 Decimations, 2 Darkness, 2 Rods, everything else can just be filled with these extra AP crystals. Now, if you're grinding somewhere where you are not using back attack damage, you're going to swap out the Crystals of Mysterious Darkness for Corrupted Crystals for the crit damage. So you might be wondering, okay, now that I know all this, how the hell do you combo in this class? That's what I came to this video for, Slushy. Just show me how to do it. All right, I'm gonna show you, all right?
let's get into it. The first thing that you're going to want to do is hit that trusty old Midnight Stinger, because that's going to keep up your critical hit rate plus 40%. Midnight Stinger is shift left mouse button. After you shift left mouse button for Midnight Stinger, we're going to be going into Rushing Crow, which should be hotbarred. So Midnight Stinger into Rushing Crow. Once you go into your Rushing Crow, it's going to be one hit of Claws of Darkness, which is going to be W plus left mouse button. If you do W plus left mouse button and you hold it, you'll notice that you do 3 hits of it. You don't want to do 3 hits. You just want to do the first hit because you don't need that extra filler damage, because you should be doing enough damage with your other skills, and you want to make sure that you're putting out as much damage as possible into the mobs at Gyfin before they turn around. So that's why we're only using 1 hit. So Midnight Stinger, Rushing Crow, 1 hit of Claws. After that, it's going to be Shadow Eruption, which is Shift F, into Darkness Released, which is WF, into Engulfing Shadow, which is Shift Z. So again, Midnight Stinger, Midnight Stinger, Rushing Crow, Claws of Darkness, Shadow Eruption, Darkness Released, Engulfing Shadow. After that, this is where it gets fun. From here, we're going to go into E, which is our Crow Flare, Turn Backslash, which is going to be WC, or I'm sorry, SC. You'll notice as I use SC, it does the full animation of Turn Backslash. TLDR, there's a really easy way to animation cancel it. You can iframe to the left or right and SC like this, and it'll just do Turn Backslash, but it won't do the full animation like that, so it'll just look like this. Then also, when you do Crow Flare into Turn Backslash, you also animation cancel it. So it's going to be Crow Flare, Turn Backslash, and then Abyssal Flame, which is left and right mouse button. So again, Midnight Stinger, Rushing Crow, 1 hit of Claws of Darkness, Shadow Eruption, Darkness Released, Engulfing Shadow, Crow Flare, Turn Backslash, Abyssal Flame. Now from there, we're going to go into S, left and right mouse button. Not S, left and right mouse button, S, right and left mouse button. If you do S, left and right mouse button, you're going to go into Dark Flame, and that's not what you want to do. You want to go into Shadow Wave, or I'm sorry, Black Wave. So that is S, right and left mouse button, and that will take you into Dark Wave. So Midnight Stinger, Rushing Crow, Claws of Darkness, the first hit, Shadow Eruption, Darkness Release, Engulfing Shadow, Crow Flare, Turn Backslash, Abyssal Flame, and then Black Wave. From here, once you do Black Wave, you're going to immediately go into Violation behind the enemy, because at Gyfin, at this point, they should be starting to turn around after your Black Wave. So you're going to do Violation, double Dark Flame into Bloody Calamity. So Violation, which is WC, left and right mouse button for Dark Flame, so WC, left and right mouse button, space bar for Bloody Calamity after your second Dark Flame, and then left mouse click to throw it. If they're not done, then you're going to just iframe Tendrils. So it's going to be Shift left mouse button for Midnight Stinger, hotbar Rushing Crow, W left mouse button for the first hit of Claws of Darkness, Shift F for sorry, having a brain fart here. Shift F for Shadow Eruption, WF for Darkness Released, Shift Z for Engulfing Shadow, E into SC, ESC into left and right mouse button for Abyssal Flame. So Crow Flare into Turn Backslash into Abyssal Flame. From there, S, right and left mouse button for Black Wave, WC for Violation, left and right mouse button for Dark Flame into Spacebar, and that is going to get you that Bloody Calamity, and then you throw it with your left mouse button. So all together, really fast, the combo should look like this. I'll just do it against this wall because the Rushing Crow is going to make me go really far, and I don't want to do that, but it should look like this all together. and I just fucked that up. You guys didn't see anything. Ha, just kidding. That's not actually the combo. This is what you want to do right here. Okay, whenever you're doing this combo, now the reason why I do Absolute Darkness first is because I'm going to get that critical hit rate. After Absolute Darkness, I'm going to go in with Rushing Crow because that's not only going to apply the Magic DP debuff, but also the All DP debuff for my skill add-on. From there, I'm going to go into first hit of Claws of Darkness because I'm going to get that plus 20 AP. After that, I'm going to do Engulfing Shadow because that is going to give me the extra crit rate skill add-on as well as attack and casting speed. Also, the Claws of Darkness gave me attack and casting speed as well, but then I do Darkness Release because that's going to give, that actually does really good damage into Shift Z. And then from there, you just do the rest of the combo like I said. But the reason why I flow it the way that I do is because I want to get the crit and then the double DP down debuff into the AP buff, and then with the speed and then the crit rate from Shadow Eruption, and then from there it's just full burst. But if you're not grinding lower G and you're grinding somewhere like Dekia Thornwood and you need to hit multiple mobs with the DP down buff, you're not going to be using Rushing Crow, and I switch out my combo in PvE whenever I am using whenever I am grinding somewhere like Dekia Thornwood where I don't need to use Rushing Crow. So the way that it changes up is the only difference is instead of using Midnight Stinger into Rushing Crow, I just Midnight Stinger into Violation, because Violation, not only do I have the DP down buff on it, but it also has Magic DP minus 20 as well. So that and Rushing Crow both have it. Now, I use Rushing Crow here because it flows a little bit faster than Violation, and it allows me to go right into my combo. But with Violation, it's pretty much the same. So it's just going to be Midnight Stinger, Violation, and then it's just going to be Shadow Eruption, Darkness Release, Engulfing Shadow. Now, I'm going to show you how that combo is done on these mobs over here. And I want you to notice something whenever I get, and I should probably show you before I get to the mobs. Whenever I'm doing, for the purple mob up here at Gyfin with my AP, she won't turn around. She won't turn around in time for me to have to hit her front at all. So instead of doing Black Wave and then into Violation and then double Dark Flame, because remember at Gyfin they're turning around by the time you're ending Black Wave, so you violate Dark Flame to get behind them. For a really easy flow, what you can do, which is really, really nice, is just Black Wave and then just keep holding Black Wave, like hold the buttons for Black Wave. So S, right and left mouse button, keep holding that, and then you'll immediately go into double Dark Flame. So that's a really easy way to get good damage off, and that's what I do for the purple mob up here. So I'll kind of use that combo up here for these mobs. So we're going to go ahead and start out the purple mob since she's easiest off rip. And I don't have a buff for any of these mobs right now, so I'm just going to kill this monster, and then I'll show you how that combo is done. Okay. Oh, I didn't kill her. Okay. So you'll notice that the combo is really, really fast. And this is what it looks like when it's all together. See how he's about to turn around here? So I'm going to violate behind him, double Dark Flame into Bloody Calamity, and he should die at that point. Same thing with this boss. He'll turn around just in time for me to do the violation behind him. So Midnight Stinger, Rushing Crow, Claws of Darkness, Shadow Eruption, Darkness Release, Engulfing Shadow, Crow Flare, Turnback Slash, Abyssal Flame, Black Wave, Violation, double Dark Flame into Bloody Calamity. So this is the mob where I'm going to do Black Wave immediately into Dark Flame because she's not going to turn around for me. And then that's what this looks like right here. You know, when I do it here, So Black Wave, keep holding it into double Dark Flame, Bloody Calamity, and it's like that. So mobs that don't turn around and you're at their back their whole time, you won't need to do that violation again. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to leave you guys off with me grinding for just a couple of minutes. If you guys have any questions or anything throughout the video, please let me know, or anything that I went over. I will be streaming later tonight, and I will be doing boss rushes on my Sorc, which should be really, really fun because I haven't done them on Sorc yet, and I will be grinding later on Sorc as well. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, it's been your boy Slushy. Peace.